shalom, my friends, shalom, my enemies. This is our old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And I do love the theater, and I do love people talking about the theater and singing theatrical songs. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice that you just heard, singing the tune Ring of Keys from the show Fun Home, is the Tony-nominated actress from that Broadway production. She is a Broadway and regional theater and off-Broadway veteran at this point. She was on Broadway in not just Ring of Keys singing, but in the show Ring of Fire. She's done everything from Bingo, the musical off-Broadway, to tons of shows around the country. She is now off-Broadway in the Unsinkable Molly Brown as the titular character, and forgive me for using that word, but it is. She is the title character in the show. And this is what one of the critics from Theater Mania said about the show and about Beth Malone. As the indefatigable Molly, Malone seems to burst off the stage with vigor and heart. And then for theaterreviews.com, the critic there said, quote, "The remarkable cast is led by powerhouse Beth Malone, who provides impeccable vocals and relentless energy, infusing her character with intelligence and growth that is robust and intoxicating." Now, I have, unfortunately, a growth on my neck that is robust and not intoxicating, but this is a very different kind of thing. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Broadway actress and UNC graduate, Beth Malone. Shalom, Beth. Hello.
Wow. I mean, thank you, and thank you for having me, and thank you for reading reviews that I haven't read because I don't read them. So I'm like, oh, the reviews are good, so that's good.
That is good. So you avoid, do you even read them after a show closes, or you never read them?
After the show closes, it's not as interesting. So, sometimes, well, I think I would read them if it wasn't such a big role that I was so, sensitive about. Like, if anybody said anything negative, even if I got, 8 great reviews and 1 terrible one, I would only remember the bad one. You know what I mean?
Or even that the problem that actors have is that they also believe the good ones, and if a critic points out something that you're doing subconsciously, and then you become...
Right.
Yeah.
It's not fun. Like, it gets into your performance one way or another. It just has to, and they just can't have it right now. I'm just like, it's a beast. Like, this role is a beast to do. I have to do it twice today.
Oh.
So, just to do it is Herculean because it's just, it's like I'm old, and I.
Yeah.
And so I, it's all I can do. So I just gotta focus and do it. The reason the reviews are good is because I do prioritize it over everything else in my life while I'm doing it. It's the main thing. I'm super boring off stage right now, but everything goes into those 2 hours. So.
Yeah, no, we do first of all appreciate your talking to us on a 2-show day and not being on vocal rest, which is because people usually end up screaming at me. So do be cautious of that. Have a cough drop handy.
We'll see how it goes.
So let's roll it back, because you had in some ways that typical journey. You're in a small town, that's far away from the bright lights, big city of New York, and yet you want to be in this field. And you made that journey here. And in some ways, your story is a little bit atypical. But when did you realize that this is what you had to do with your life?
Well, I think when I was very young, I kept trying to move to New York and failing because I was from Castle Rock and I had no skills. I had no life skills. So I would come here and just get a roommate situation and get a bunch of jobs, but I didn't know anything about how to audition or how to go about getting decent auditions. There was a thing called Backstage at the time, and I think there still is, but when you have an agent, you don't have to go through Backstage. You get calls from your agent of things that people are going to see you for, and you don't have to wait in line. Like when you don't have an agent, you have to wake up really early, go get in line for these equity principal auditions is what they were.
Cattle calls. Yeah.
But then you get a number and then you return later in the day. So it's really, really demoralizing and wreaks havoc on like your work schedule. You get up really early, you get your number, then you go to work at your menial job, and then you go back later in the day with your number, and you get to sing 16 bars with like 50 other people. And so there's just like it's really, really hard to get a job that way. It's really hard. But I would get jobs that way, but when I would get them, sometimes they were tour, like out of town thing, and then I wouldn't go back because I was just like, it's just too hard. And I'd go back to Castle Rock, and I would live with my parents again, and I would work at the Country Dinner Playhouse. And, then I would try it again in another couple of years. So I did that. But the way I ultimately got cast in New York was through L.A. So I went to grad school, moved to L.A., and was starting to work out there. And then I started auditioning for theater out there, and ultimately some things I auditioned for there went to New York. So I got in through, like, the L.A. door.
Was it Ring of Fire, or what brought you from L.A. to New York? What shows?
It was Ring of Fire, yeah. It was Ring of Fire, but first also Bingo. Bingo is an off-Broadway show that preceded Ring of Fire by just, like, 3 months. So by the time I made it to New York, it was like a 1-2 punch. I was in 2 things in the same season, which kind of was interesting. And they overlapped a little bit, so I had to leave Bingo early to go to Ring of Fire. And all of a sudden, people were like, "Oh, who's this? Beth Malone." And then Ring of Fire was so poorly reviewed that it was really hard to get seen for things after that. So that was another thing.
But you didn't quit after Ring of Fire. Ring of Fire, you had made your decision. I'm going to pursue this, even though the show turned out to be not so well received.
Oh, well, my decision to pursue it was just like a lifelong decision to pursue it. Like, I've been pursuing it kind of.
No, but not to leave New York and go back to Castle Rock and Mommy and Daddy. After Ring of Fire.
Oh, no, I had lived in L.A. by then.
Oh, yeah, right.
I was pursuing it in L.A. By then I had a master's degree and stuff like that. By then. So, but I had gotten that master's degree in acting so that I could, perhaps teach and not ever have to wait tables again, which is what I had been doing. I've been waiting tables a lot. So I was like, well, I certainly don't want to be waiting tables when I'm older. So I got that master's degree. And then, after that, I felt like I really had like some acting skills. So I went to LA and I started auditioning, and that's how I ended up in New York.
Now, you have not mentioned, one of the things here is that the producer of this program, Dave, he has been an adjunct teacher, and he got a master's degree from the theater program at the University of Northern Colorado in gorgeous Greeley, Colorado. Now, please tell us some things about your time, because you finished up your bachelor's there, or what did you physically do at UNC?
I got a bachelor's, yeah.
Yeah, because you were at one school for a year or two, and then you transferred credits or something like that, or what?
Well, I went to grad school at UC Irvine, but I went to UNC and just had a ball up there. We just had a blast. We did a lot of really good shows, and I made a lot of lifelong friends. I lived with my best friend in a basement apartment just off campus, and we just had a really good time. And many of the people that I met during those years are still my lifelong friends. Yeah.
Well, what did you learn in terms of acting and performing? What did they teach you at UNC?
At UNC?
Yeah.
Well,
it's not the best school in the world, and they're $10 million in debt at the moment, but what did they teach you when you were there?
Well, when I was there, I had like a really good voice and speech teacher, Heather Hollingsworth. She taught us the International Phonetic Alphabet and introduced us to all that kind of technique-based way of attacking, like dialect training. I had an amazing theater history teacher, Mary Martin.
Mary Martin, not that Mary Martin, not Peter Pan flying around the room, Mary Martin.
But no. She has a different last name there. I think she's still there. She has a different last name now.
Oh, Shuttler, is it? Are we talking?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yes.
Dave has told me about her, yeah.
Yes, she's awesome. And she taught theater history, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot, and it made it easier to transition into like the grad school where things get ramped up a few notches, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to really dig deep into the IPA, And
I'm drunk deep from IPAs myself, actually.
What's that?
I'm drunk deep from IPAs. That's a
Yeah.
little
Oh, are
little
you?
joke,
That's embarrassing.
little comedy right there. But let me ask you, although in Purim it's appropriate, but let me also ask you on the personal side, growing up in Castle Rock, being a small town person, at some point you came to the realization that you liked girls more than boys. Was that
Yes.
a problem where you, before you got to LA, which is LA everything goes, New York even more than everything goes, but Castle Rock, Colorado, Greeley, Colorado, maybe not so much. So what was that
Well,
like?
it's interesting how you think everything goes on the coast. You know, casting-wise, it's not the case because we're really like pandering to the middle of the country as far as like taste goes, and so it is still very much like I had managers and agents always pretty much urged me, especially in LA, to you know, kind of fem it up and be in the closet because it just wasn't trendy yet. Like when I came to the business, they were like, you know, whatever you do in your personal life is, you know, your own business, but let's just keep it pretty heterosexual above board, okay? And then, you know, so that was how I played a lot of wives and moms stuff at LA, tons of TV commercials. I have more husbands than I know what to do with, and then it became a thing where I was sort of at the end of my rope with that, and then I was deciding to maybe leave the business, and that's when I built my solo show because I thought before I leave the business, I want to do something that I want to say, that I want to play, and I want to see somebody reflected back in this business that is like me, because there are a lot of people like me, and I want to see us. I want to be represented, and I want to represent. So I did write this solo show, and that's how like the people from Fun Home ended up seeing me for Fun Home because of the work I had done to sort of leave the business. I was like, yeah, I got to get out of here. This isn't.
Well, for people
what I'm gonna do here.
For people who may not know the show, we should mention that Fun Home is based on a graphic novel by Alison Bechdel of her realizing that she was gay and trying to and coping with that and dealing with that and understanding what it meant and to be that person. That's the song we play. Ring of Keys is from that show when the young girl in there. It wasn't your character; it was another character who sees the what was she, a UPS worker or something, and she sees.
No, it's me, but it's young me.
Young me, but it was played by a different actress, and sees this postal with a ring of keys and falls in love with like a girl crush on her and realizes, oh, you know, I like girls. So that's what Fun Home specifically deals with that, and also with a father who cannot deal with his own sexuality and takes it out on the family and tries to, you know, go around and hide who he really is, and it ends up just, you know, it doesn't go well for him, let's put it that way.
It does not go well for him, yeah, and it's based on real people, so when you're playing it, you have to realize, like, this is a real person's story, and you have to treat it with a lot of respect, and, you know, it's funny now, because Ring of Keys has become, like, this anthemic thing for queer teens, you know, and there's, like, a Ring of Keys group now, and there's a Ring of Keys society, and people get Ring of Keys like tattooed on themselves as like a symbol, which is interesting because Alison Bechdel, she put it in her graphic novel as just sort of a small, specific detail, which is she's brilliant at like pulling out one small detail of a moment and sort of like doing one of those like a map insert of a moment where specific detail can pop out at you. So she pops this Ring of Keys out, and then the brilliant Jeanine Tesori,
the composer, yeah.
Yeah, she said this should be a song, you know, because graphic novel is, you know, 300 pages thick, and there's a million details. So how do you pick one that becomes the song? And so the fact that Jeanine nailed that so specifically, and then Lisa and Jeanine wrote this amazing song. It was just sort of miraculous to sort of be in the room while that was all happening. But yeah, that Ring of Keys thing, it is a very specific experience that a lot of queer kids can harken back and be like, oh yeah, yep, that was my Ring of Keys moment.
Well, what was your, Beth Malone, what was your Ring of Keys moment? What was the moment when you saw a girl and you went tingle, 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 hello, you know?
I can very specifically remember I was in the church basement watching Candle Shoe with my friend Chrissy Murphy. When we were, like the church was showing a special viewing of Candle Shoe, the Disney classic starring Jodie Foster, and I was like, oh, I'm like her. I don't know what she is, but whatever she is, that's me. It was like I just had this. It was an identity thing. It was like I've never seen a girl like me, and there she is. It's Jodie Foster, and she wasn't like a lesbian icon at the moment.
Oh, right.
But at that time, I was like, that's me, that's me, that's me, and it was really important for me. And I left that theater knowing something about myself. That church basement, actually. It was important for me.
And how were you, like 14? How old were you at, or 10? Or?
Oh no, I think I was like 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you have to go through?
9, younger.
One of the things that you apparently did in your solo show was talk specifically about the relationship with your dad. Was that fraught when you realized that I'm Jodie Foster and not Angelina Jolie, as it were?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. My dad and I were very, very close as children, when I was a kid, because I was his little buddy. I was the son he always wanted. The one he wanted to do stuff with, the one who would do stuff with him, like go, show the horses and hang out in the barn and go fishing and do all this stuff. I have 3 older brothers, but they were sort of like into playing music more, and my dad wanted a son that would be, willing to go to rodeos and stuff, and that was me. So,
Well, not to be too cliche, but doesn't that work? I mean, doesn't that kind of, since you're not a girly girl femme per se, wouldn't that be ideal for your dad?
It was ideal until I was like, and by the way, I'm in love with this lady, and then he was like, okay, then you're not my kid anymore, and so that was what happened. He disowned me, and it lasted for like 7 years, 7 agonizing years for both of us and our whole family, because every single family function, every family gathering was just sort of, it was like the coronavirus. It just sort of like, it disassembled everything at its core. It's like, oh, you can't go to the movies, you can't go to the Louvre, you can't go to the Broadway show, because the thing at the core of it is community, and you don't have that right now. So
was he religious? I mean, what was his? Or was he particularly deeply Catholic or something, or just he felt ooky about gay people? What was his problem?
My dad's like a Trumpy, right winger. He's definitely. My dad's still the same guy, but now he has a blind spot just for me and Shelley. I don't know what the deal is now. He still voted for Trump and Mike Pence. So, I mean, there were times where I just can't, now I can't talk to you.
Sure.
So there was just like, there's just no connection between like my rights and my well-being and Fox News and Rush Limbaugh and politics and stuff. For some reason he just can't make that connection. But it's also because he's 86 and he's kind of off the rails right now. So I can't really be too mad at him right now and blame him, because he really is sort of like, he's just getting smaller and smaller, and I think that fear plays a huge role in his identity with this group of people. So I can't really, I mean, we have not that much time left, I imagine, so I can't really take up an argument with him right now, even though it's all I can do to just sort of like breathe through the stuff he says, and he says stuff all the time, and I'm just like, well, I'm just going to put that under the heading of you're compromised at this point, so we're going to just let that go if we can, and I'm going to seek a therapist later.
Well, wait, where's your mom in all this?
My mom is this person who is just a supportive wife. She rolls her eyes and just, she voted for Trump but then regretted it. So she had the good sense to regret it at least, but, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Well, speaking of old dogs and new tricks, if you will, and I will, you've been doing the Unsinkable Molly Brown now several times. You're doing it off-Broadway at the moment, but you were doing it regionally. Was it always this new revised version that you've done, or have you done in the pre?
I joined it. It's been this new revised version, yeah.
Well, what have they done to change? Because you would figure Molly Brown is such a spunky kind of character that it wouldn't have issues in terms of the the Me Too and the woke era. But what do they have to change to make it more palatable, I guess, for modern audiences?
Oh, it's a complete page one rewrite. The whole
Why?
book.
Yeah.
He threw out the book because if you look at the old musical, it doesn't have anything really to do with like the amazing thing about Molly Brown, Margaret Tobin Brown, if you're a Coloradan especially, is all the stuff she actually did in her actual, 65 years on this planet, and many of them in Denver. She did so many amazing things. She was a progressive and a liberal and also devoutly Catholic. So she was this really amazing. She was a suffragette. She's responsible for the juvenile criminal court system in the United States. And Denver, Colorado, was the first state to have a separate court system for juveniles. Wow. She put that in place. She started the Denver Dumb Friends League, which is a precursor to the ASPCA. She had soup kitchens. She had.
But okay, but you're listing all these things, but this is also a Wikipedia page. It takes people. There's only so much you can put in a musical.
But it does it. Like this show does it. It shows you that she ran for Congress. The original musical has this like pistol flashing, high kicking saloon girl, rags to riches, not too bright. And then when she becomes part of Denver society, she makes all these social faux pas, and nobody wants to, nobody wants to have anything to do with her till she survives the Titanic. And then, and some of that is actually true. Like the Sacred 36 did snub her, and she was sort of known for her brash mouth and her lack of social grace. Until she survived the Titanic, and then she became like the flavor of the month. And then somebody wrote a chapter in this book called like Timberline. Was this writer that sort of like embellished Western characters wrote a chapter called The Unsinkable Mrs. Brown in the Timberline book, and that's the character. It was basically fiction. And that's the character that they wrote. That Meredith Willson wrote the musical after that character, not after the real Margaret Tobin Brown. So you go back and you look at the original musical, it's pretty much, you can't really do it.
That's right.
It's not awful.
So now you're able, it's not just about all the things that she did, it's about the person that she was. So when she's in high society with these people who are snubbing her, it's not just the social graces and she looks foolish and embarrassing to herself and we snicker at her, but it's like, oh, she's got a smart mouth, she's smarter than they are. She's the
smartest person in the world, and the love story at the center of this is a person who wanted more, and JJ didn't. He wanted to stay put, and she wanted to keep moving forward. And she also, he was a really smart man, but he was in Colorado. He had a hunting cabin in Twin Lakes. He mined all over Aspen and Ashcroft and Leadville. He loved the mountains. He was built for it, just like so many people we know. And she wanted to see the world. She wanted to learn several languages, study acting. She ended up studying acting in New York, and then, she was on the stage in New York, Paris, and London, and then she was teaching acting at the Barbizon School for Women when she died at 65. So, he wanted to stay home, and there were two strong personalities, and that's ultimately what tore them apart, and they were estranged at her death. But our show has them sort of coming together because they did write these long, beautiful letters. You can go to you can go to the Denver Historical Society and read all of these beautiful letters that they wrote back and forth to each other. So they stayed friends. They were lifelong friends, and they stayed married their whole life. They were married because she was so Catholic. But they were not together.
Well, obviously, Beth Malone has studied and researched and done your due diligence on this role of Molly Brown. And if you want to see the results of this, and also her talent as a singing, dancing actress, by gosh, go see The Unsinkable Molly Brown. It's off-Broadway at the Abrons Arts Center, which is on Grand Street, kind of on the Lower East Side there. now through April 5th. I have to think, and I don't want to give it a kanina hura, as my people would say, but considering the reviews that have come out, is there talk even at this point of an extension or a move? Can you say that?
Well, we've extended it now. I
Yeah.
think we've extended it as far as we can go. There's rumblings about it possibly moving, but I don't think it's going to. I think this is going to be it, and then it's going to release into the regions, and people can do it, and people can do this new version of it. And finally, like the Meredith Willson score, that is the state. You know, the thing about this show is like the score has stayed intact. They've repurposed the songs in this magical and brilliant way. So this great score of Meredith Willson's will finally get heard again, and that's the beauty of this new revised version too. It's like.
But you are now a working actress in demand, which means that after April 6th, what are you doing?
Well, I'm jumping right into this suffragette musical called Jeanette, and that is definitely Broadway bound. So we'll see when that one goes in, and then I'm shooting a movie, something very interesting and sort of thrilling that I can't quite talk about.
Okay.
But, and then it's like TV and stuff. I've been shooting a lot of TV this year, which has been great for the old pocketbook and for getting insurance for me and my wife, because SAG insurance is so good. So that's been awesome. But then, I mean, I'd love to get back and ski, actually, at the end of ski season before they shut the list down.
Well, yeah, you couldn't, I guess, go to upstate New York. You don't have to schlep back to Colorado. We got snow.
No, you do. You can't ski up here. It sucks.
May you get so rich that you can buy your own snow. That would be everything. So, by the way, what is your name? Say her name was Sherry. Your wife's name is Shelley. I'm sorry. How did you meet Shelley?
I met her at the Crystal Palace in Aspen, Colorado. I went up there and asked for an advance on my paycheck. That's exactly the truth. That's how I met her. I said, "Can I get an advance on my paycheck to pay my car payment?"
And she was the person you asked. Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Oh, so how long have you been together?
27 years. 27.
Oh, McClick. So you made that choice after a certain point when it was legal. I'm going to marry this person. Yes.
Yes, we got married in several ways. Like first, we married each other in 1997, and this complete romantic heart ceremony when it was not legal. We had this beautiful wedding in Aspen, Colorado, surrounded by our friends. It was very hippy dippy. Everybody was holding a sunflower, and they said a prayer into it, and then we had that bouquet drying for years and stuff. It's really, really beautiful. And then we moved to LA, where you could get spousal rights. They weren't calling it marriage. They were calling it, what were they calling that? Oh, I forget what they called it at the time. Honey Shell? Do you remember it? She's not here. She's here somewhere, but she's hiding. But what did they call us when we were not married in LA? But we got rights?
Partners?
Domestic partnership? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Somebody will have to call in and tell you what it was called. And then we got married, but it wasn't legal. And then we got married when it was legal. Remember when they took it away for a while? Like people who were married were suddenly not married.
Oh, right. That like proposition something or ridiculousness. Yeah.
Then we got properly married in 2015 in New York City. So we're on the book. Like we're in the book of names. That was the thing that was so meaningful when you go into the county courthouse and you see, the oldie-timey, written in people's handwriting, book of names of like John, Smith married Mary Nevin on April 4th, 1912. Like Shelley Shepard and Beth Malone are in the book of names together for all history. Because I do feel like I'll spend the rest of my life, and if there is an afterlife, my soul is stuck to this person forever. So why not have it in the book of names?
Wow.
Forever and everness. It feels really good to have it legalized. It felt important.
Well, I mean, it's wonderful to hear. We wish you certainly a huge mazel tov on that. I've got one or two more questions for the delightful Beth Malone, though, before we let you go. We do want to remind everybody that right now through April 5th, as a matter of fact, we just got someone writing in to say, someone named Tom says that he's listening to the program on a train on his way to New York to see the play. He's going to see the Unsinkable Molly Brown.
Oh, great! Thanks, Tom.
I guess he's seeing the matinee. It's today, what, at 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock? You have two shows.
Yeah, I better warm up. I better go,
Yeah, he's going. So Tom, maybe wave at the end of the show when they're bowing and say, "I was listening to Dave's Gone By," and etc. But you have until April 5th, everybody, to go see this show downtown at the Abrams Art Center. It's 466 Grand Street, and then, as we said, after the show, it may not move, and nothing may happen with it. As you said, you're already working on Jeanette, which is this Broadway-bound show, and you've got TV stuff doing. What are some roles, since you must be a musical theater geek, like so many people are, that you, at your age, are hoping at some point might get the chance to play?
Well, let's see, at my age, like, a lot of times, like, I'm offered the mom, like, the mom in Evan Hansen, and the mom in, Sing Street, you know what I mean? Like, these are the things that I've been, the mom in Jagged Little Pill, these are pretty great roles. Yeah. Like, the Jagged Little Pill mom is a great role.
Next to Normal, maybe you could do, that's, yeah.
So, but I don't want to do those roles. Oh. I don't want to replace and stuff. For me, like, the mom roles, I'm not, like, oh boy, I get to play the mom. For me, I'd rather, like, look to things like, things that are normally cast with men, and think about how we can rethink this role to be a female. Like, this is what more I'm interested in right now, because oftentimes those are the better roles, those are the better stories, the more interesting stories that you want to immerse yourself in. If you're going to put yourself through something, because like Angels in America, I did Angels in America on Broadway.
Right. You played the angel. You were in the...
Yes, the titular character again.
There's that word,
and,
yes.
As it were. And, it's a big, giant investment of your body and your mind and your voice and things like that. And if you want to put yourself through that, you really want it to be something you're really into. Otherwise, it's better to just stay available and do TV, because the pay is so much better. So I understand when people are like, I'll go to Broadway and I'll do a show, and if it's this show, and I won't do any single show. Like, there's an all-female 1776 that's kicking around that I am interested in doing.
Oh.
There's a bunch of, like, before it gets to New York, it goes to here, and it goes to there, and it goes to here, that I'm not quite as game to do, just because it takes, I would do it, but it takes a lot of time out of your schedule when you could be doing, those jobs that really pay the bills, because those things, when it's not in New York, it doesn't pay that well, so you're kind of struggling and scrapping along to do this thing you really love, and now I'm feeling a little bit old to be doing that.
In your 20s, you live on SpaghettiO cans, and it's fine, and you're crashing on couch. Yeah. So I get that. But be excited and be happy that your agent is getting you to the point where so many weeks a year I'll be getting TV work.
Yeah, it's thrilling, and it's so, it's so good to do it. And then you go and you shoot for a few days, and you're really kind of available for many, many things, including life. Like, my nephew's getting married this year, and I get to go, because I'm not going to be trapped in an 8-show a week thing. These things are also important as you get older. You want to be there more, because I've missed so many things over my life. I missed my best friend's wedding, and that I'll never get quite over that. But it just was what I was doing at the time. I was like trying to make something, trying to build something, and you really have to commit when you're trying to build something. And now I'm sort of like, I've built something, and now I want to sort of be a little more gentle with myself and sort of show up for life things a little more.
Well, besides skiing, which we know you love, what are the other things that you do when you need to be away from it, when you have time to yourself and with your wife? What are the hobbies that you take part in that you enjoy?
Well, we are also mountain bikers. We love that. But we have a little RV. We have a Volkswagen Rialta, and any like Rialta heads out there will know what we're talking about. We have this little thing, and we tool around in it. And we have a tiny dog. We used to have two, but now we just have one. And we like to just kind of disappear, get to a place where our cell phones don't work, and just hike around and be quiet, sit and like watch the waves come in somewhere, or sit and like watch a hawk circle in a super duper blue desert sky. That's what we like to do. Wow. Take a moment and just breathe and hear nothing. That's what I like. Wow. Because you hear so much noise here.
No, you're talking to a Jewish man. I don't know what quiet is. Trust me. I'm a Jewish man from New York. Quiet does not exist in my universe.
It does not exist.
No, not
like
at all.
When you really hear quiet, you're like, oh, wow, this is what it is. I like to get to a place like, there are these dark sky reserves now. My next trip, I want to go up to the Ketchum, Idaho, and get to that dark sky reserve they just created up there, where you can see a bazillion stars, because they have these outdoor lighting ordinances where everyone must comply and use very minimal outdoor lighting, so there's no light pollution at night. And so you can see the most stars in the northern hemisphere on this continent in Ketchum, Idaho, at the Sawtooth National Park. That's where I want to go next.
Wow. Well, I hope you get there and see as many stars as possible. But if you folks watching and listening at home want to see a great star yourselves, all you have to do, you don't have to go to Idaho. No, you just have to get on a subway and get yourselves down to 466 Grand Street to the Abrams Art Center and watch the shining star that is Beth Malone as the unsinkable Molly Brown. It just remains for me to say, Beth, it's just been lovely and delightful talking to you. I wish you great further success and quiet end times to yourselves and good health and good things for you and your wife. Happy Purim to you and
Thank you.
Shalom to you.
Shalom to you back.
Bye-bye. Beth Malone, ladies and